You've got mail.
Hello, welcome to Parke County. My name's Debra Olson, and I'd love to show you around the old jail inn and the Drunk Tank Winery. Come on in. Just to give you a little idea how this whole thing started and how I landed in Parke County is I was uptown going to school, and I had taken a walk in the afternoon, and someone said, "You're kind of different. I bet you'd really enjoy that building over there. Look, it's empty." And so I came down these stairs just as you have, and I walked to this point, and I'm looking around, and it is, oh my goodness, it's terrible. At this point, luckily, I turned to my right, and what do I see but this beautiful door? Now, it may not look beautiful to everyone, but to me, it was the start of something I would need to build into a new home. And I was contemplating getting a new home at the time. So I looked at it, and oh, as scary as it was, I opened the door. There was no lights on or anything. It was to the left, it was full of pipes, but to the right, I could see that there was a window that matched the door. This is an 1879 round top steel riveted door, and this is original to the drunk tank. This building was built in 1879, the third county jail to Parke County, and I just was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I even looked and could see where around the frame where it was coming loose. Now, I haven't even touched or cleaned this since I got it 11 years ago. I could even tell that the bolts were going to be easy to take off. Had no clue how much this door was going to weigh, but I thought, I have to have this door. Place is closed. Who else would want it? Noticed over the pile of pipes that were on that side, there was another window that matched it. Actually, there was not even glass in that round top window. I looked and I was like, oh my goodness, that would be so cool. As fast as I came in here, I also exited. And I went down the street to the Parke County Visitors Bureau, which is still located about 4 blocks east here of the jail. And I went in, and there was a lady by the name of Kathy Hartwright. And to this day, her name and that experience kind of changed my life. So I went and I paid for a door and 2 windows. She said, I don't know what you'd want them for, but you know, it's very expensive to keep this place up, just to keep it heated. And we don't even have good furnaces. We only have one in the front. So I said, oh, well, that's fine, but I'm just here for the door and the 2 windows. And so that's how my story begins. And what happened was, a couple days later, she called and she said, hey, she said, we need to talk to you. We had a meeting. And I said, oh, a meeting? Okay, well, everything's fine with my check that I gave you. And she goes, oh, yeah, it hasn't cleared yet, but yes, could you come by? And I'm thinking, why do I need to come by? It's not an interview. I don't need an interview to get a door and 2 windows, but maybe in Parke County you do. I walked in, and to my surprise, she tried to hand me a folder with paperwork in it, and here's your keys. Now, just to give you an idea, I knew what this was going to be. These are jail keys, the original jail keys, and the only set that we have for this jail. And I said, oh, I don't think I need those. And she goes, oh, no problem. She said, we took your name and information off your check, and we just put it on the deed, and you've got the whole building. and here's the deed and the keys. And I go, oh, no, 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 no. I'm from Illinois. I have family there and everything. I just need a door and 2 windows, and I'm out of town. She said, well, it's your lucky day. You've got a whole building. You can do with it what you want. Oh, my goodness. I know I went in the car and had a terrible anxiety attack. But, I settled down. And within 4 days, I came in here. This place was a hot mess. I mean, terrible. Before I go on and show you the rest of it, I'm going to take you back into the drunk tank, which, watch your step, because in 1879, a lot of people have walked through here, and a lot has gone on here. When I was clearing out the building, there was this door. And if you want to, you can look right down and put your camera right next to it. And there it was. It was the tunnel, and the solitary confinement was back there. And that's what's in back of, down this tunnel and in the back to the right. So I get a building with a tunnel to the courthouse. I get a solitary confinement. And I get a lot of history. I want to point out that the perimeter of this is 33 inches of Indiana sandstone, which crumbles crazy like. Above me is 9 inches of Virginia granite cord with Indiana white marble. These pieces and the walls and the ceiling up above were all pre-cut before they started the project in 1879. All right, I just want to welcome you first to the Drunk Tank Winery. Actually, it is the Drunk Tank Wine Bar. We do something that, like everyone that comes in here tells us, is so weird and different, but we teach people about wine. We teach them how to drink wine, how to experience wine, and know a little bit about wine. Now, at this bar, you also get the added bonus of all the comic relief that you've ever wanted. We have 52 different kinds of wines, and we also have in our wine collection my own label, my own Indiana wine that is made in southern Indiana. It is a right down the middle red table wine that's really delicious, and if you're a sweet drinker, you could take it, and if you're a dry drinker, you'll tolerate it. It's delicious red table wine. My wines come from all over the world, kind of like my guest. This inn and this winery has had over 22 countries. We've had visitors from all over and every state in the union. And as you can see, the above here, this is all from the county, this wood is. Mr. Baird, the man who knows all about wood in our county, came in here and he said that this was from the county. I believe that these headers that run through here to hold this up have turned to cement. They are so hard, it's so hard to cut right into them. I will say one thing else about our bar. Everything in here is recycled. Kind of like me, and you'll notice nothing matches. It's not one of your pretty wineries, but I will tell you this, it'll stick with you for a long time. Now, if you do the wine tasting here, which we do many of them, you end up getting 5 wines in a glass with the name of the Drunk Tank on it. But what the people enjoy the most past the wine tasting is they love to mark the spot where they learned about wine. So the names on the walls and the ceilings and the floors and the steps and everywhere else is the names of the people who have done wine tastings. Only if you've done a wine tasting do you get to put your name on the wall. This is the back part of where the basement is. For the original jail. On this side, it was investigation. On this side, it was interrogation. The sweet thing about this building is, as high as the courthouse is, so are we. I don't have any water issues or anything like that. That's the best part of it. The flip side is, it's old, but it just I don't know, this building has got a ton of character, a ton of good feelings, and it draws wonderful, fun people coming in, enjoying the wine, telling a story, getting excited because they've never been to jail. And I guess that's just the best part of this whole thing. So I'd love to show you the inn from here, and let's go on up. Hi, wow, I get to welcome you twice to Parke County. Now I'm going to show you the inn. This is the original steps that came up to the jail, and as you can tell, they're pretty worn and have taken years and years from 1879 on to wear down a little. And I guess that's what gives it an interesting vibe. I do want to point out that as far as I know, this is pretty original to the building, and there was only one lock to it. I do know because Pat Ballinger, who owns Aunt Patty's here in town, she was the last dispatcher that was here. And the dispatcher was the person who kind of told everyone what to do, and Pat was wonderful at it. She could run this board, and she could check people in, and she could also, from this box right here, give them, if they wanted an aspirin or something. It's all still here. What I do know is when Pat was in this room, it was cut off and there was a service window because the service window is outside. Now it is the entrance to the inn, and everybody gets to enjoy and come in and look at everything. This is probably a fourth of all the patches that I have of the police departments that have visited. I have the sheriff's departments here. I have back home some of the Illinois, University of Illinois, and all over some Illinois ones here. And I have the FBI in another area because I've had them all here, and they come as groups and they bring me a patch and kind of mark the spot. So what else I know about this building is that a lot of the electrical and everything comes in here, and it's right here. So they could turn on the lights upstairs, downstairs. Now that was when, after they got electricity. When I bought the place, it had, I believe they call it three-phase, and it was a pretty powerful amount of electric to come in here. I had to work a lot of it into single phase so that I could work some residential appliances into the area because, of course, I live here too. I live in the sheriff's office, juvenile hall, and the padded cell. And down here, where this was the entrance, this was the part where you went back into the cells. And over here were the booking cells. And the booking cells is where you were for a very short time. Every one of my cells are named. This one is named after the Indian motorcycle because the Indian motorcycle that's made by Polaris introduced their 2015 here in the beginning of 2015. I'm going to turn on the light in here, and the first area that you're going to see is the cell. So the small area you walk through is the cell, and the doors work and the locks work. And this is where the jailer would have sat and taken like your fingerprints, your name, what you had done or what you had supposedly done. And this door, someone gave me 15 doors when I started this, and the doors on here are just here looking like they could be used, but they can't. They're my walls because everything was plastered. So this is the Indian garage, and there's 2 booking cells, so I'd like to show you that. I just want to point out that I have been blessed over the years with guests who have given me so many memorable things from their families, like pictures from World War II, as I have here. The next year they came back, specifically this one, came back, and the jacket that he wore in World War II they found in the garage, and they brought it and gave it to me. Greg remodeled this room to look really cool, and it just kind of like adds into the coolness of the Indian garage. Come here, I'll show you another one. Okay, I'd love to show you the rest of it that's down here. This is the doorway to the drunk tank, the office, my residence, the kitchen that was used by the last jailers that were here, and this is the original sally port. This sally port was put in once electric was put in, and it works and it feeds back to the front where Pat sat as a dispatcher, and all of this is how it used to open up, and all of it is movable and it works. This little door right here can be unlocked, and you can look down cell block 1, and if there was any problems, you could put a gun through there and shoot out the problem. Anyway, this is the little kitchen that the jailers used, and I doubt that the inmates ever used it. And this is the second booking room. As you can tell, this little room that you enter into, that's what the person that was being going to be put into jail, this is where they were. This is where the officers sat and did all the paperwork. And welcome to Gangster Hideout. Again, this was all open. It was easier to put the doors up than to match the plaster. And it's got a king-size bed. Obviously, they didn't have many of these back then. Actually, they had none in here. And it is a guest room that people really enjoy. I'm going to take you down this way. And you get a real jail bathroom experience with the potty and the sink and the shower being original to when I got it. I do know that they did this remodel in '70 because they had a really bad fire through here. Back here, this was the kitchen to the entire jail, and not when I was here, it was out of here, but there was a long stainless steel shelf here, and all the food went to the back. Something very interesting that I never did cover up, because people always find this pretty cool, is in my closets that need organized, it says peas, green beans, carrots, pork and beans, sauerkraut, corn. You can tell everything they ate because they left it all on the shelf, so that when anyone who was a good prisoner could go out and get the groceries for them, and then they had to put them away and they'd go right through that door. Because I know that the man who used to own the Double D's dad and family who owned the grocery store, they would come in there and get their groceries. So let me show you the rest. Okay, I'd like to show you the original 1879 cells that they built to use for the prisoners. I do want to say that 1879 was when the jail was built. In 1998 is when they moved out. The last sheriff that was the head of this here was Mr. Esslinger. Him and his wife lived on the premises and raised their 3 sons here. The summer before the family had so many tragedies, him and his son Mike, his oldest I believe it was, came here, and Mike had not been in here since 98. And it was so touching because I showed them upstairs where they had, as kids been raised up there till 98. And it was just a part of the memory of this that I will never forget, and how proud Mike was and how supportive he was to me through this build out. He was just totally so excited that this building wasn't going to be torn down or that it had run into ruins. On that note, come on back and I'll show you the cells back here. I know that this part right here, this is where you could see the dispatcher through here, and through here you could put like the aspirin and everything else that they wanted. Now, they did leave a lot of clothes. They left bags of the sheriff's department clothes, and there's all kinds of clothes. There's original jail clothes This is the original 2. One of the ex-police officers or county gave me this one, and I've just been blessed with just bits and pieces of everything. You come through here, and you're going to see exactly how it was in 1879 when they built it, minus all the lights and the furnaces. When I got it, I had to install 3 furnaces, 3 air conditioners, redo the electric and the water. All of this is attached and you can't move it, and the bunks that are behind you were the ones that were cut out of the cells. All of these rooms are interior rooms, and interior rooms just means that the perimeter of this, you could look from the outside to the inside of the rooms. I'd love to show you the rooms. My first one's named John Dillinger. I've got Thelma and Louise for those girls that want to run away and have a little fun. I've got Al Capone here and information about Al Capone. I have got Elvis Presley because, you know, his jailhouse rocked. I also have Jesse James right back here. These beds are all queen-size beds, and I got to tell you, as little as these beds are, everyone that stays the night always says, I slept so good. It was so quiet. It was comfortable, the beds and everything. I can't make it pretty, but I can make it comfortable, and that's the most important thing. Every room you can lock from the inside, and when you leave for the evening, you can lock them from the outside. It has nothing to do with me. That's one question I get a lot is, do you lock us in? No way! I don't want to keep you that long. And the other thing is, do we have privacy? And I always say, oh, no way. You can just go in there, look through the bar. Of course you have privacy. How could I have all these guests and no privacy? Here's one cell, the last cell of 6, that is made into the bathroom that is shared by these 5 rooms only. The shower to your left is the original shower to the jail that was back here. And I do want to point out that this right here was where the water came out, that one little hole. So I rewired or redid it, replumbed, and put a shower head at the top. And it's one of the favorite showers in the building because it's in the summertime, it's really nice and cool and refreshing to have a shower in a stainless steel shower. And again, it's all private. Can't see ya. So now I'd like to tell you about the upstairs. There's 2 cells upstairs, and they were added on top of the original 1879 structure, and this was right after World War II. The government gave back to all the states a lot of iron because through the times of the war there was rations, or just there was a low amount of iron that you could get. So after the war, when they took the battleships and scrapped them out, they gave them all to the states. Parke County was lucky enough to get some scrapped battleships, and that is how they added on the top floor. So that was done in between 42 and 43. Come on upstairs and I'll show you. Where they separated out what the police tell me as just the people in town that did dumb things to people who did some really bad things. So up here would be anyone who, between murders or burglary or arson or anything like that, they would come up here. These doors, as you can tell, now I'm into this steel, and these doors would shut down. Whoever went in there were 4 bunks, but they kept anywhere between 7 and 10 people at all time in these rooms. It is warm today, but it was really warm back then. As I was told, that the rule was that if the temperature got over 99 degrees, or hit 99 degrees, they could put a bucket of ice in front of the doorway and put a fan to it. And that would be their air conditioning. But it had to have been stifling hot in here. This is how everything was locked down. This is for the box that kicks this open. This is where the food went through. And this is where the window was that they could look through to see that they weren't like killing each other or something. Let me show you inside. This is where, as a jailer, you could walk, if you wanted to walk in here, you could walk in here and talk to them. Now, I don't know what year it is, but I was told that they put expanded steel all over these bars because of those windows, there was trafficking. So they would throw yarn or string out, and people would put things on the end of it, and they would wheel it back in here. So they stopped that when they put the expanded metal. When I got it, 3 weeks it took for people to help me take all that expanded metal off. Come into, this is our suite. And what happens here is you get a queen size bed. People don't sleep on this, and this wasn't here, this was here. But you sleep on expanded steel that's underneath this. There were 4 bunks. I took 2 bunks out and left the original table in here. Added new potty and new sink. But the original mirror to this room was right here. And one thing I always remember, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it. I think I have 4 pictures from the day that I came up here, and I am for sure that it was so traumatic I can barely remember what happened up here. But I do remember that up in the top of this, right up in here, there was something, a little piece of thread threaded through, and it was tied off here, like when they took a shower or something in here, that they put their towels, or they tried to put a blanket up there to get some privacy. There could have been no privacy in here. The shower is original to the room, and you still take a shower where the prisoners took a shower. And the water pressure in here is great because when I got it, I found out it has a 6-inch pipe coming into it. So you get a really nice shower in here. There's no problem with pressure, and there's no problem with getting hot water because I got a huge tank. So anyway, this is Bonnie and Clyde's suite, and all of the paperwork and information and pictures on the wall were given to me from the Crawfordsville circular jail there. They had they had put all this up, and when they were done with it, they gave it to me. So that was pretty nice. Again, everyone's stories on the wall. The question I get asked, have you painted this? When I painted originally in 2009, I bought it at the end of 2009, it took 4 months. 380 gallons of paint and 83 gallons of kills. The problem I had, and the thing I was trying to deal with, was the amount of smell. It just was, I know for weeks we sprayed down with bleach, and I had a water bill that was crazy. But that was just because the cleanup took so much. And the paint, yeah, there's a lot of paint. The writing on the walls, I will never paint over, because someday I would like to write a book about this experience, because the last 11 years have been so fun and exciting and interesting, and I can't wait to tell the whole story. Okay, so I'm going to show you the second cell that's up here. This was Bonnie and Clyde. But before I go there, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but on the floor, when they added this on after World War II, they had the prisoners help. The prisoners that day stole the 5 frying pans that were in the kitchen, and they are steel frying pans, and they're all right there in the concrete. Overnight, when the concrete seasoned, they popped, but they didn't pop out. So there's 5 frying pans in the floor. The other claim to fame on this is in 2013, I had this visitor come, and she specifically wanted the Bonnie and Clyde room because her great-great-grandfather was Dewey Holyfield, and he was a town marshal. And right here it is. It says, "My great-grandfather killed Bonnie and Clyde." The story goes that he was the night marshal in Winsboro, Louisiana, where the couple passed through town. The feds recruited him to help capture the infamous couple. Turned out they shot them to death. Stacy Rhodes, 113013, Cincinnati, Ohio. Someone else came, and their family legend was that my aunt from Alton, Missouri, was Bonnie's cousin, Diane Martin. Monticello, Illinois is where this lady lived, and she put her claim to fame on the wall too. So come on down here. So I have 9 cells in here. I'd love to show you the last cell. It's kind of important because it's the Harley Cell. And as you know, Parke County is not only known for their bridges, but they're known for the 36 Saloon. Sorry, you got to share that. But what happens is people come from all over, states around, just to have lunch at the 36. And what is more common amongst motorcycle people is the Harley Davidson. This room is all about Harley Davidson. This room has got so much Harley Davidson things. I just can't even begin to where to tell you or how much that I have put away. But this room is Harley Davidson. It even comes with the saddlebags off the side of a motorcycle. I've got motorcycle pieces all over. I've got a recliner in here that is a custom motorcycle recliner that people enjoy. But the thing that is so interesting to me that a lot of people don't even notice, and I find that the Harley part of it is what they're looking at, is the one of the very few pictures that I have of the first time that I came in here. And I want to just say a little bit about how that happened. The first time I came in here, it was 4 days. And I walked through it. I had never been in a jail in my life. I had never been in a place that was such a hot mess as this was. I mean, there were windows out, there were birds in. It smelled horrendous, and that was in the wintertime. I walked around, and I even came up here, and that's when I took that picture. And I walked downstairs, and I walked one more time in that cell block 1, and when I came out of the room, I thought to myself, this is an inn. This is actually, I think I said, this is a bed and breakfast. The person I was with said, you don't even know how to cook. And I said, I don't know how to have an inn either, but I'll figure it out. Backstory of that is that a few years later I traveled with my parents to Germany and to Sweden. And we were talking, my father and I had went to Sweden and found the farm that was our family farm and the crest on the barn and everything. And the one thing that the immigration marshal told us that I will never forget is, she said that the one part of the heritage of the Swedish people when they came to America was hospitality. So I'll always go back to the point that there was something in my blood that enjoyed the part of, taking care of people and giving them a soft place to fall at night and to enjoy. And that has been the best part of this whole thing. As much work as there is here and as old as the building is, it's as soon as the people start arriving that my heart just sings. I just love every part of that. And the last 11 years, I've met thousands of people and been blessed. And I know that one reason, it isn't me and it's not just this jail. I believe that they come to Parke County because they find the warmth, the giving, and the volunteering of this community that is like no other. So I hope you enjoyed the tour, and welcome again to Parke County, because when you're in Parke County, you'll just fall in love.